No hospitals, no medicine, no doctors. If you got sick, Ling years ago, there was no one coming to save you, except the people standing right next to you. So, what did ancient humans actually do when illness struck? And how often did it work? Sickness today feels manageable: a pharmacy, a clinic, a diagnosis. But for most of human history, illness was one of the most mysterious and terrifying threats a tribe could face. There was no understanding of germs, viruses, or infection. Just symptoms, fear, and whatever knowledge the group had managed to accumulate and pass down. When that diseases spread, early humans likely noticed that they spread. Sickness in one person often meant sickness in others who stayed close to them. Some anthropological evidence and observations of modern isolated tribes suggest sick individuals were sometimes separated from the group, not out of cruelty, but out of a crude, practical instinct. Distance seemed to slow whatever was happening. This wasn't universal. A sick person was still a person, still someone's parent, child, or partner, but the tension between caring for someone and protecting the group from whatever was spreading was very real, and it likely created difficult decisions with no good answers. Ancient humans didn't have pharmacies, but they had generations of trial and error with the plants around them. Certain barks contain natural pain-relieving compounds. Some leaves reduced fevers. Others helped wounds close faster or fought off infection to some degree. This knowledge wasn't guessed at randomly. It was built the same hard way all early survival knowledge was. Someone tried something, it either helped or it didn't, and the outcome got remembered and passed on. Modern researchers studying traditional medicine systems have found that a surprising number of ancient plant remedies contain compounds that do have real, measurable effects. Willow bark, for example, contains a compound chemically related to modern aspirin. Early humans weren't randomly experimenting. They were running an extremely long, extremely costly clinical trial, one generation at a time. Beyond plants and physical remedies, simply being cared for by the group mattered enormously. Someone sick and alone had to forage, drink, and stay warm entirely on their own, a nearly impossible task while weakened. A sick person surrounded by their group could rest, stay warm near a fire, be brought food and water, and conserve the energy their body needed to actually fight off whatever was wrong. This matters more than it might seem. In many cases, the difference between recovering and dying wasn't the illness itself, but whether the person had the basic resources: rest, warmth, hydration, to survive long enough for their own body to fight it off. The tribe wasn't just emotional support, it was often the actual mechanism of survival. For all the accumulated knowledge, the herbs, the care, the isolation instincts, most serious illnesses in ancient times still had no real solution. Infections that we treat with antibiotics today were often simply fatal. A fever that spiked too high, a wound that turned septic, an illness that spread faster than isolation could contain it. These ended lives constantly, regardless of how much a tribe cared or tried. This wasn't a failure of effort. It was the ceiling of what was possible, without a scientific understanding of what was actually happening inside the body. Ancient humans weren't ignorant. They were doing everything genuinely available to them. It just often wasn't enough. Here's the uncomfortable truth. For the vast majority of human history, getting sick was closer to a lottery than a manageable event. Your outcome depended less on what was wrong with you and more on things completely outside your control: how strong you already were, how much food was available that season, and whether your tribe had the resources to spare on caring for you instead of just surviving themselves. Every time you take a pill without thinking twice, or see a doctor for something that would have been a death sentence, Shirling years ago, you're standing on the other side of an almost unimaginable amount of human loss. All of it slowly, painfully converted into the knowledge that eventually became medicine. Getting better used to be luck. Now, for most of us, it's just Tuesday. If you want to see what happened when illness spread through an entire tribe at once, hit subscribe. This is Ancestral Line,